time for Nerdy for 30, podcast where we talk about nerdy-ish movies for 30-ish minutes. My name, you know it. It's Kevin Bauer. I'm the critic's choice. With me, as always, you know him. It's the people's champ, Tim Cack.
If you feel it, chase it, baby.
If you feel it, chase it. And today, we are chasing something to make us feel good again. We saw Venom 3 over the weekend, and we are here now to talk about it. Joining us for this is one of our best friends, and hopefully one of yours as well. Returning to the pod after a long absence, Spencer Pazer. Spencer.
Yeah,
best
Spencer.
friends. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, boy, was it
Good
too soon to
friends.
DTR on this podcast?
No,
That was
but
an overstep.
That one statement made me feel better than the hour and 49 minutes that we had to sit through this film.
Truly abysmal. We left this movie in such a bad mood. It was the middle of the day. We caught a matinee of this. We saw a 1 p.m. showing of Venom 3, The Last Dance. And all of us, young men in the prime of our lives, in the greatest city on earth, the middle of the day, the entire rest of the weekend at our disposal, all three of us just wanted to go home.
I was depressed.
It was so bad. What went wrong here? And also, which way do you guys want to go with this? Do we take the high road and do we really try to figure out, what they were going for? Give it credit for that and figure out how to do it. We're going low road. All right, dig into it. What happened?
I've said this to the both of you probably at the end of the movie, but when we were leaving the theater, I noticed that there was a young man in a wheelchair that had attended the movie. And I often take the companion seats in a busy theater because the odds are most of the time wheelchair users don't come to the movies because it is a huge hassle, especially if you are a quadriplegic in an electric wheelchair like this young man was. And the effort to get out of the house and go to the movies and buy a ticket when your life is in a chair is monumental. This was like this was like a week. Who knows what this was? And all I could think, I just looked at this kid and I thought, maybe this is shitty. I felt terrible for this person that their time and effort had to be spent coming to this movie. Maybe they're big Venom fans. I don't know. Hopefully it was good for them, but
there's no way.
I don't know. Maybe
there's no way.
Maybe are someone with really bad taste who just happens to be quadriplegic. I'm going to
push back a little bit. As the people's champ, I represent the people. I'm pulling up Rotten Tomatoes. The tomato meter, the critics are giving it a 38. The popcorn meter, which is the new audience score, 80% on the last Venom, The Last Dance. The first Venom.
Talking about
the first Venom. Let's go all the way back. 30 on the tomato meter, 80 on the popcorn meter. The audience loves it. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, 57% in the tomato meter, 84 on the popcorn meter. This is mind blowing.
Wait. Let There Be Carnage had the best critic review of all three of them.
Yes, it went from a 30 to 57%. It's crazy. And the audiences, people are into this movie. I pulled up some quotes from people, some 5-star reviews of this movie. From Belle Enriquez, Venom The Last Dance is a thrilling cinematic experience that masterfully blends action, humor, and a deep dive into the complex relationship between Eddie Brock and his symbiotic counterpart, Venom. This film takes viewers on an exhilarating ride, showcasing not only spectacular visual effects, but also a compelling storyline that keeps audiences engaged from start to finish. I don't know how I can represent the people when I don't understand what the fuck they're thinking. This is insane. I've seen so many things just talking about Eddie Brock and Venom's chemistry. This is the least charming relationship I've ever seen in a movie. I feel like it's unwatchable. It's hard to watch. I like Tom Hardy. I think he's a great actor. This is somehow the most boring, unwatchable thing he has ever done. There is zero chemistry between him and this guy. They try to manufacture it at the end by saying they're friends. And, oh my God, that's my best friend. This is an alien symbiote that takes over your body and is torturing you. This is a parasite that is living off of your body. It's not a symbiote. It's a parasite ruining your life actively. And he's your best friend now. I mean, this is Stockholm Syndrome. I don't get it at all. I don't understand what people walking away from this movie with any positive feelings are feeling. This got laughs in the theater a couple times. I don't get it. I'm just 100%. I don't understand it. This is like the Joker for me, where like people are like, wow, so good, incredible. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's like if Isaac Newton plucked an apple out the tree and he let it go and it floated into space. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. And that's not the way the world should be.
Tim, I think I'm right there with you. I flat out didn't understand a lot in this movie. But also, like, all of the dialogue felt like placeholder dialogue. So we've talked about this before in movies where there are jokes that have the rhythm of a joke. They're cut, they're edited into the form of a joke. And yet the things that the people are saying don't actually make sense as a joke at all. It'll get a chuckle in the theater because people are just responding to the rhythm, but there's not actually an ounce of humor in what's being said. Yeah. This is the first movie I've seen that does that, not only with the jokes, but with all of the dialogue. There are multiple times where people are saying things to each other and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? If there's a 6-hour cut of this movie, that would kind of explain what's going on here. But the other option that's there is that literally all of the dialogue is placeholder dialogue. And this is it's the first time I've ever seen a movie where I genuinely believe that if you stripped out all of the audio and played it as a silent film, it is genuinely a better movie.
Yeah. If you just guessed what the audio would be, you would come up with better dialogue than what this is.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Like the movie was in a rush to tell us. It was in such a rush to give us information about a story that went nowhere. Not to mention Tim's whole gripe about this relationship between Eddie and Venom being like Eddie proclaiming it's like his best friend. There's a line of dialogue in this movie that where they say that only a year in time has gone by since the events of the first film. He is going through a full mental breakdown if all these events are happening in the course of a year. There is, like you said, this is full on Stockholm Syndrome. There is nothing. They want some type of connection for the audience to feel with Eddie and Venom, and they're giving us no reason, nothing to hang on to that feels anything that makes us feel anything like some genuine connection between these two characters. Not to mention, it is Tom Hardy voicing Venom as well. So.
Is it really?
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, he is
Tom Hardy voicing
That's
Venom.
Crazy. That makes me like it a little more, honestly. But
but I'm wondering who's reading the lines to him on set when he's talking to himself. That's what I'm curious about. Probably like the first AD or something. Someone who doesn't have acting experience. I don't know. Who knows?
They probably tapped in Sean Gunn like they do for Rocket Raccoon. It's just Sean Gunn with his arm up in a green screen thing. It's especially brutal too because we've done the Lethal Weapon movies on this podcast. The Lethal Weapon franchise, it's the gold standard of buddy cop movies. I don't know that a buddy cop gets better than that. It does such an incredible job building a relationship between these people. Venom, the whole thing that we thought was a missed opportunity about the first movie is they didn't tap into that enough. But by the time you get to this, it makes the first Venom look like a masterpiece because at least they did something with the relationship. This one is just such an absolute mess. It feels like characters from different movies mashed together.
Yeah, Tom Hardy's "I'm too old for this shit" was just him losing his shoes over and over.
Yeah.
Is this a new bit? This wasn't in the other movies, was it?
No, this was just a bit. He just keeps losing his shoes, and there's never any consequence other than him tiptoeing over gravel, essentially. And Kevin, there was a scene where there's glass on the ground. They could have done the Die Hard, and they bail on that.
Yeah.
Why couldn't Venom just become shoes?
Also, they set up.
He did once.
But Venom could just be shoes for him, and then he wouldn't need shoes.
Right?
He's got a whole costume. Good.
He proclaimed best shoes ever I believe in the Venom voice. And then outside of that one scene, no more Venom shoes.
I think he was referring to the Nikes that they had taken from underneath the desk that they had set up earlier in the movie with the other scientists,
like the hiking boots.
Who, they were like Nike Dunks. They were like high tops. And there's just a very specific close up of her putting her Dunks underneath the desk.
Why?
Just so we know where he gets the shoes from later.
It could have come from anywhere. I've never looked at a shot of an office where people work and been like, but there's no shoes in here. We don't need the establishing shot. It's fucking bananas. It's just the Christmas tree pen, dude.
Oh, the Christmas tree. Well,
but I'm not saying Venom could
just so exasperated.
Shoes. I'm saying Venom could just become shoes, right?
No, I think that's the hilarious. That could be the greatest bit.
Could he just become a suit?
Shoes. Yeah, he could be.
What if he just became a suit, like an actual tuxedo, and it was Venom trying to pretend to be a tuxedo, and then he had to wrote the movie, talk to people there.
I don't know what to tell you.
There's so many interesting things they tap into where the symbiote leaves him and then enters like animals, and it's like this is kind of cool. We get some like interesting CGI there, but like then if this is what we want to do, why don't they like fight in a zoo or something like that? Like how crazy would it be if they're separated for some reason they're in a zoo and Venom has to keep turning into different like elephants and tigers and like fighting his way back to get Eddie?
Well,
how is that not a thing?
They tease that in the end credits of the film.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where there's all those animations of like Venom like creatures essentially like Venom, and essentially he does that as he's trying to catch him in the rapids. He changes from the fish to the frog from the horse to the fish to the frog, and then but none of that ever like comes to fruition.
Yeah,
it's all a waste. It's just a big waste. It's a big giant waste. You know, I was thinking to myself, in relation to these mind-boggling audience reviews that Tim was reading, like maybe we're just at the point in our lives where we've lived through some good stuff and we are interested enough in the good stuff to know what could be. And maybe there are not enough people going to the cinema and they come and they see the Venom, the Last Dance, and they think, wow, that was great, because they've never seen Lethal Weapon or they've never seen like the originals. I mean, of course, like at this point, I imagine that anyone who's seen Venom, The Last Dance has seen every superhero movie that's how do I say this word? That's come before it. Pre-existed. Wow. I was going to say predeceased, but that is
predeceased.
Not
I think that might actually be, I think that's the word for it.
This movie was predeceased for sure.
Yeah.
It came dead.
It sure as shit did. But I like maybe there's just this gap in learned filmmaking that the audience has, and that this is what they think movies are. Because
the bar for entertainment has dropped so low that the standards just don't exist anymore.
Yes.
Instead of comparing it to even like the first Iron Man movie, they're comparing it to a TikTok dance or like someone cooking and rapping at the same time,
or Venom 1
in an Instagram video, or Venom 1, which had good reviews too.
I'm curious like what the age range of like the reviews are coming from, because like if you think like even the gap between Venom 1 and Venom 3 is what, like 6 years?
6 years, yeah.
So take like a 10-year-old grows up on Venom 1, and by the time they're halfway through high school, Venom 3 comes out. Like maybe that's awesome. I mean, I don't know. I saw Training Day in theaters when I was 11 years old. So maybe I just have a higher bar for filmmaking and the movie going experience. But like, it's not like that we don't have good movies out in this day and age. I'm just so confused. And
I think it's deeper than that. I think that there's like a fundamental difference in people's taste, and there's this segment of the consumer population in the United States that has been studied, and they consistently love the products that are destined to fail. Crystal Pepsi, the green and purple ketchup, the weird ass flavors of things that you see pop. If any of the people from this consumer population start buying those products, the companies stop manufacturing them because they know that it's a guaranteed failure. I think Venom the like Venom franchise, especially 2 and 3, specifically appeal to that same consumer database. Because I gotta admit, like, I have for some reason called this Stockholm syndrome. For some reason, I have a warm spot in my heart for Tom Hardy's Venom. I don't know why. It does not really work. It definitely doesn't work in 2 and 3. But in number one, it felt like there was potential there. And I like the fact that Tom Hardy likes it so much. But I don't think it has ever been served well by the movies. But people love them anyway. So maybe they are responding to just like some sort of I don't know, like a fondness they have for the character, the same way that like we liked Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, despite the fact that we recognize it's a bad movie. Or maybe it really is that they're, these things just appeal to them that are literally countercultural. It's just perpendicular to what everybody else thinks is good.
I want to agree with you about the first part, but at the same time, these movies are not failures. Remember, we were looking at they do, and the first movie made $1 billion, almost $1 billion. And the second one made 560 million. I mean, these are profitable films. It boggles the mind. I mean, I'm frustrated. I'm flustered. I'm flustered. I don't know what to say.
I think
I'm not sure what to do.
We should nitpick some specifics just to paint for the audience why this is a problem. And I think even just the writing of it is so terrible. There is this comic book character named Null, who is like the god of the symbiotes. And I don't know if he's like an amazing character necessarily, but it is kind of badass. And he's like this huge bad. And he has this sword that's like a darkness, and he owns all these symbiotes. And so they present him at the beginning of the movie as like, this guy's trying to break out of prison, and all he needs is the codex. And the codex is Venom, basically. So we just need to get Venom or kill Venom. We're spoon-fed this information up top. And for a second, I was like, oh shit, are we getting Null? Because at least that's at least a wild leap to take, but at least it's an interesting leap to take. And then very quickly, it's like, oh no, we are not getting Null. We are just getting teased with this big bad that we will never see, a la Thanos. But instead of a post-credit scene, it's the driving force behind the entire movie. Yeah. So no matter what, we're going to be unsatisfied by the end of this thing. We just are. And so this guy is sending his minions. I guess he gave birth to symbiotes, which are the Venoms, and then these other alien things that love to eat Venoms. And he has access to like an infinite number of these in his dark dimension. And for whatever reason, he can't leave, but they all can leave. And so he sends one to Earth.
Oh, because he can just summon
finds Venom
portals.
Yeah.
He can just summon infinite portals. And so he sends one alien to chase Venom. The alien can't be killed. It gets incinerated, burned up. It forms up again. It's fine. He knows Venom's there. And also then he sends at the very end of the movie, he sends like 6 of them. And still, I'm like, why isn't it not like an infinite number of these things? Why is acid the thing that defeats them at the end? Why is Venom the only one who's able to symbiotically attach to these things? You'd think they would be contradictory and unable to merge, or there'd be something else there that would be something any of the other Venoms would try. It's like no matter what, we've created a reality where we will be disappointed because we are not going to get a satisfying conclusion to the thing that they put on the table.
And it's all, yeah.
I'm afraid of just putting the cart before the horse. Kevin was pointing that out. Like maybe they could be presenting this guy as a big bad that they're hoping to force Marvel's hand into including this guy in a Spider-Man movie. I really don't see that happen. I don't see how I would be very disappointed if Marvel conceded and started incorporating Sony's IP into the Marvel universe. I think that'd be a huge mistake. Sony doesn't know what they're doing. I don't want to see anything of Tom Hardy in there. I don't want to see anything of Null. All their creations are shit. For some reason, I'm excited about Kraven the Hunter, but it's dumb. It's going to be bad. We all know it's going to be bad, and I'm teased by Kraven the Hunter. But yeah, there's just so many things like that in this movie where you're like, why? There's nothing satisfying that comes from this.
Well, it's also like a symptom of this like really obvious writing that serves like the story and not the other way around, where you go in obvious frustrating ways where you say the creature gets sent to Earth and then like it can only see the codex if the Venom becomes the suit or Venom becomes Venom, and if not, it just sees gray matter everywhere. And then as soon as it can see it, it can leap from the ground to a airplane at altitude in as long as it takes to cut between those two frames. I mean, and I turned to Kevin, and this was another a stupid thing that was also obvious, but then abandoned at the same time. I turned to Kevin when Chiwetel Ejiofor's character goes to do his little like burn that truck with the acid, and he puts the thumb on the pad and the eyes in the eye reader, and he says, Sergeant, what the fuck was his name? It was something stupid.
Rex Strickland.
Yeah, something. Yeah. Sergeant Strickland or whatever, Lieutenant Strickland, and then like they always say, you show don't tell in movies. Meanwhile, we're being told everything, and then the show is this giant fucking container that says super acid on it, and it just showers down a metal truck to nothing in the open air. And then later, and I turn to Kevin and I'm like, well, I wonder if the super acid will come into play later in the film. And of course it does, to the point where Venom picks him up and makes Chiwetel's character open the acid on top of him while he's trapping everything. But then Kevin threw his head back because moments later, Venom just breaks the lines open. So there's no need for his character to even be near this mechanism that we were introduced to in the first place. It's just a matter of convenience. And it's just like, oh, we have this in the movie that this will help the plot. And it's not masked by anything clever or any nuance whatsoever. It's just all so obvious and stupid. And meanwhile, then he covers Eddie with a metal door, which we have seen in the movie evaporates when it is touched by this substance, but protects him in this circumstance.
It protects him from like an explosion.
Yeah.
Also, it's acid. Isn't acid like a liquid? Like, isn't there a possibility of acid like sliding under the door?
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
Yes. Dude, it's a mess. There is one really funny Rex thing that I wanted to point out, which is that at one scene we see Rex Strickland at his work desk, and behind him on the wall, he's got his diploma, which I could see read Bachelor of Geospatial Intelligence.
Stop it.
It's so funny to me. I did look it up. It is a real degree you can get. It's so funny to me that this man had his bachelor's degree hung up. That is amazing.
His Area 59 underground office.
He's got a fucking bachelor's degree hanging on the wall.
We haven't
military
even covered,
general.
We haven't even covered the introduction of Juno Temple's character, where she has a nightmare about her brother dying.
Juno Temple is completely useless in this movie. Unnecessary. Doesn't serve any point, and it's all meant to build up to this moment where she gets Venom powers, and it doesn't make. And I felt nothing. I just felt nothing the whole time.
Well, because again, this movie was rushing to give us as much information as possible. It was rushing to tell us that this character had a dark past because she held her brother's hand in a lightning storm. She got struck and he died. And as a result, she lost the use of her left arm, which was just dangling there the whole movie. But even the little cut scene, the dream sequence of her younger self and her brother, with like, even the way that was shot was frustrating, where it was like, oh, look at this entire blue screen scene where they were just like two actors like running on a treadmill. And like
they couldn't even find a beach for it. They
couldn't even go outside for this fucking movie. And that scene couldn't have been longer than 30 seconds. It's so frustrating. And then they ask the audience to care about this character when there is no care in creating the world that we're supposed to be involved in.
Yeah.
Also, what is
very frustrating?
And what's her deal? Like, what does she care about? What is she into?
She's had this shit on her shoulder for a long time. I mean, long time.
But there's like this idea that she is more passionate about these symbiotes than Rex is. Rex is a man, you just point and shoot, you know, even though for whatever reason, when his men died and he was upset about it, I was kind of surprised. I don't know why. I guess I was shocked that he actually cared about the people working for him for some reason. I don't know.
Very weird for a general to get that in the weeds with their people. I'm not saying that no generals care, but I know exactly what you mean. It's like if you're in that position, you have to accept that there are certain inevitabilities with having soldiers. I mean, it's like this guy working on a farm and naming every cow.
We lost Betty in that milk, that steak incident a while back. We lost her to the ribs. Yeah, whatever reason, they kind of paint him like he's going to be a douchebag. And then instead, he like really cares about his people. And it just seems weird. He's somehow an asshole and then also a good guy. You just can't, no one's allowed to just be a bad guy or whatever.
He's a douchebag to the smart people because with all their smarts, they don't see the danger in the world.
Yeah, dude,
right. But then also the symbiotes he doesn't want to work with.
Degree. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't trust anyone who went beyond the bachelor. That's great.
Don't trust anyone over 30.
Yeah, truly.
But then Juno has this whole arc where she's supposed to be empathetic to these symbiotes, and there's this thing where it's like maybe she empathizes with them more, and she's sad about Eddie Brock, and she's sad that Venom's apart, and it's like, oh, maybe she's going to rescue Eddie. And no, who rescues Eddie? Christmas, who we know nothing about except for the fact that she wears a Christmas pin. Someone's like, why do you wear this Christmas pin? She's like, my mom made it. And it's like, okay. And then at the end, she's the one that gives Venom back to Eddie and like saves the day. So why are you investing in Juno Temple's character when she ultimately doesn't do anything except save the girl that saved the day at the end of the movie? It's so stupid. And the pin means nothing. The pin, all this buildup for this character is just that she gets a green symbiote. And she doesn't even, that's also one of the many symbiotes she gets. She has like 3 different colored suits in this thing.
Not even a Christmas jingle when she gets powers. Nothing.
There's nothing.
Crazy.
It doesn't mean anything.
It zoomed in on the pin. It zoomed in on the pin like it was about to do something.
Yeah. And it's just green. That's the only thing. It's not that it's Christmas. It's not that it's a tree. It's not even about her mom. It's just this is a green item that she wears. So, of course, she's going to get a green symbiote. The symbiote doesn't reflect anything in her personality because we don't know her personality. And honestly, one of the things I did like was seeing all the symbiotes come out because I'm like, at least this is fun. They've all got different gimmicks. One's bulky and punches. The other one shoots fire or whatever. The other 2 merge together. That's cool. And they're just possessing people that work in Area 51. And I'm honestly thinking, I don't need to know that much about these people because the symbiotes are the personality. You know, you see them possessing like a thick security guard. I'm on board. It's a thick brawler guy. Like we know right away. Like I don't need elaborate backgrounds for these. So why are we giving an elaborate background to Christmas? Or why are we?
Because we need to see her place the shoes under her desk.
Why are we giving an elaborate background to Juno Temple, who ultimately doesn't do anything except this thing at the end? Like she's just. Why doesn't Christmas get that?
She doesn't do anything.
Why doesn't Christmas get that attention? Christmas. We don't know anything about Christmas's character, but they give it to, I don't know, tall white woman. I'll say it. Tall white lady gets the backstory.
Oh my God.
And Sadie Christmas is just in the background doing nothing.
You know what? I would bet you
saving the day.
I bet you there's some backstory that ended up on the cutting room floor. Not that it probably helped serve the plot in any way, shape, or form. But
yeah, here's my 2 problems with the multiple symbiotes scene at the end. Number 1 is that they went back on the entire premise of what makes Eddie and Venom special in the first place.
I was just about to bring this up because I was thinking to myself, isn't the whole first movie about how they're the only ones that are symbiotic, like, and everyone else is dying? And now in this movie, they're just attaching to whoever's closest and suddenly they're in control.
Yeah, it's the day shift problem. We saw the movie Day Shift on Netflix. Dave Franco gets turned into a vampire. He immediately knows Kung Fu. He goes from being an accountant to knowing Kung Fu just by getting bit by a vampire one day. It's the same shit, man. These people put these symbiotes on And suddenly they don't have any of the problems that people had in the first movie. They can just fight immediately. My second big issue with it is that they go back on what they established in Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, in that they say for Venom, at one point, they refer to Venom as the black one. And these Venoms have different colors. I mean, yeah, I know they didn't mean it like that. Not great.
I know.
But all these Venom, like all these symbiotes have different colors. But in the second one, Venom is specifically scared because Carnage is quote unquote a red one. And then that's never elaborated on. He's just very freaked out when he sees that Carnage is red because he goes, uh-oh, that's a red one. This is bad. One of the symbiotes in this is a red one. Are all red ones bad? Is this like a Green Lantern thing? It's very stupid. I'll cop to this. I've never liked symbiote lore in the comics. I like Peter getting the symbiote from the Secret Wars, like he's out in space. I like all that. I'm fine with the asteroid version from the movies. All that works for me. I hate all the stuff with King and Black. I hate Null. I hate the planets of the symbiotes. I hate Space Venom. I hate all of it. It's dumb to me. So I didn't curious, like it here either.
Is Venom in the comics as like similar to how he behaves in these movies with Tom Hardy? Like, is he he's
No, he's like a loser in the movies, and he's not a loser in the comics. He's like a weird, like schlocky. He's like fucking Ted in the movies.
Yeah, it's like Ted. It's like
a little bit.
It's like oh god, who's that writer guy who does Ted?
Seth MacFarlane.
It's like a Seth MacFarlane. That's like what Venom is in this. But Venom is like a badass. Like he kills people, he bites heads off, he fights Spider-Man, and then then they kind of turn him into an anti-hero because he was so popular. And he was still a badass, but now he kind of does the right thing sometimes, and sometimes he's still the bad guy. But he's cool.
This is a good family.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about Good Family though. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm not that familiar with it. But I don't understand the van thing either. It's just
it's
dumb.
It's just a C plot that is unnecessary to anything. The family does nothing of consequence. They're just people that are placed into the story so we can get some type of sympathy. So Venom can show sympathy towards other people. But other than that, they have no bearing on the plot whatsoever, other than filling time.
They're a thing to rescue at the end.
Yeah,
they get to make a save. There's
because
it's a cute moment. You get they're just there to prove that Venom isn't an evil thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was listening like the Midnight Boys
obvious
on their pod, and they were talking about how that's like one of the best parts of the movie. They're like, they should just let Eddie and Venom cook. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
They said let them cook.
I go back to the idea. They were just like I don't know if they said let them cook. They said the movie works when it's Eddie Brock and Venom in the van interacting with people. They're like, anytime it's not these guys, the movie doesn't work. But I'd also argue I don't enjoy anyone in this movie. I mean, the van people are the most likable characters in this movie. I mean, we didn't get anything from Alana Ubach, who's so funny. Martin Moon was pretty fun. I mean, they're the only people in this that I cared about at all, to be honest.
Yeah, but they serve no purpose other than other than Venom's this idea that Venom will have like sympathy and empathy for other people. But
I also got to say, I was sad. This creature came around and just started eating all the Venoms. I was a little sad when all the Venoms died. They really just, one of them's like, I'll hold him back, immediately dies. And it's like, I get that they're just blobs of goo, but shouldn't you be trying to make me care about this guy? Like,
we had a whole second movie learning to care about the guy who became the turquoise symbiote. And then he just gets dispatched immediately. It's a huge deal that he's still alive. And then he just gets dispatched immediately. It's what's his name? The cop from the second movie.
Oh, yes. Jesus. He's in everything.
But then he dies immediately.
I also couldn't tell.
Like, kill some of these people. Kill some of the humans.
I also could not tell
Dr. Teddy Payne.
Once the symbiotes took over, like bonded with some of the people, it was unclear when they were speaking, like when they had moments to speak, who was talking. Was it the people or the symbiotes?
Oh, it was just because the symbiotes.
Because I feel like when I mean, it didn't feel like it at the moment, but I don't know.
You don't think so? You thought that was the people talking?
Yeah,
I guess no, you're right, because
it felt very unclear because the motivations were I mean, I guess all the motivations were the same at the moment because they're all trying to survive this thing, but I don't know. It seemed it was just too murky. It was just too murky.
I really thought. I mean,
I will give points. I will give points for the visual effects that your audience review mentioned earlier. They were better than they have been. I would say. I mean, there was something to see, sort of.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's some high road toward the
but
end
also
here.
Not enough.
The effects were great.
Yeah, like there's something to enjoy. I mean, there's nothing to enjoy. Let's be clear. This was a depressing experience. We sat through this fucking movie and then waited for a post-credit scene that was just a callback to a line that also meant nothing. And it was just Danny Football running out of Area 51. And
that guy sucks. I don't know. It's just dumb. Maybe we can wrap this up. Because I have a couple ideas. Maybe we should rapid fire just go through like the worst things that we haven't mentioned in this movie yet.
Sure. Yeah.
Because what I'm thinking of specifically is at the end when the family is saved by the Venoms, they're on the ground and Juno Temple, the Dr. Teddy, drives up in a car. They load the people in it and then they don't drive away. Then they just sit there and they watch as they get attacked, and then they have to abandon the car because they like got attacked or whatever. But I was
not only that, she hits the thing and destroys it. Doesn't she hit the creature? That is the unbeatable creature. She just hits it with an old Ford 150. And it smashes to pieces, but like it can't, but it's like surviving a battle with like 6 symbiotes on top of it.
Yeah, dude, that's the one thing those aliens can't withstand is American auto.
Yeah, those good old 70s Ford
Detroit's finest, baby.
Jesus Christ. I mean,
Detroit steel right there.
It's so dumb. I'd say another one I was thinking about was at the beginning when they're rescuing the dogs, which is a nice thing to do. The way Venom and Eddie fight, I get what they're trying to do, but I hate it. Like, instead of just being Venom, Venom is like throwing Eddie, defenseless Eddie, at people, and Eddie is like kicking people and like punching them, but without the Venom symbiote. So he's just a guy punching people, and they're trying to make it look like they're like, I don't know, like Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, like having each other's backs and like doing choreo. But like, no, but you are Venom. Just be Venom and just rip some heads off and just fuck people up. I don't want to see Eddie flying across the room kicking people. Yeah. That's like not what it is. I don't care about that. I don't like seeing Eddie outside of the costume fighting. It's dumb.
Yeah, it's, you know what it is? It's just it's a lack of commitment in any specific direction. They could have gone it could be this movie could be hard as fuck if they stayed away from any type of comedy. If they just went full bore into like hard action and like dark territory, or make it the goofiest fucking thing you've ever seen, but like lean into it. Like they want to have it all. They want to hit their 4 quadrants, and they want the audience to eat it, and nothing is being earned. Nothing. It's infuriating.
It's all bad. Any last thoughts on this? Yes.
Yeah, I've got my 2 bad things. Number 1 was Eddie Brock going into the casino and kicking and destroying the slot machine, and then everybody getting up and reacting to it very strongly, and then nothing happening. He destroyed a slot machine at the Paris casino on the Las Vegas Strip, and nothing happens to him. And then my immediate follow-up is the immediate follow-up to that, which is that he sees his friend who works at the bodega in San Francisco, and They have immediate chemistry. It's the first interesting thing that happens in the movie. There is like he comments on how good she looks. She looks great. She's in this dress. She's all happy. She just won. There's a definite vibe between them. She invites him up into her hotel room to shower, and then nothing happens between them. I really wanted it's like the only time I've really wanted like a sex scene in a movie. I'm like,
she should have fucked
this
Venom.
Is great, dude. Yeah, that's a blast. That's so because she loves Venom, and she I think she tolerates Eddie because she loves Venom. That's a fun sex scene.
Even like that is kind of the right idea with them dancing and stuff.
Yeah,
like that part of the movie kind of works, but it's also just like stands out so differently from the rest of it. And also, it's like, how dumb do you have to be to become like the whole like you would rather fall from the sky with nothing, like defenseless, than attack one of these creatures. But you are willing to just put on the full suit and dance with her to draw
not 10 minutes after telling us that if you put on the full suit, the creature will see you, and then just betraying that for the sake of the plot
and putting this person in danger.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you care about.
Could have been killed.
We don't even follow up with her at the end of the movie. There's usually, I mean,
right. We have no idea what happened to her.
No, nothing. No clue.
Yeah.
She didn't go in the chopper.
Do you have another one, Kev?
No. I mean, I did think it was interesting that we got that scene of Tom Hardy walking into a casino in a tuxedo looking great. I know there was talk for a while of Tom Hardy taking over the Bond franchise. There's a lot of people that consider him one of the finest actors of this generation. He was on the table for Bond. That is a centerpiece, cinematic icon role. And I feel like if he had wanted to do Bond, it was his. So it was really interesting seeing him seemingly purposefully commenting on that. And the fact that it's happening in a Venom movie shows you that he wanted to spend 6 years making Venom movies instead. And I just think that's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Maybe he's just caught in a I mean, when people sign these contracts, it's not for one movie. It's for, I think the Marvel contract is like 7 movies.
I think he wants to make more too. I've heard different things. But I mean, I've heard people say he wants to do another. I mean, this was supposed to be The Last Dance, but I think he's also been like, I'd do another one. He seems to really like it for whatever reason. I'm sure the check probably helps, but
sure.
Also a lazy title. Also.
So lazy. God, the music cues in this are so stupid. What was the song they played at the end?
Oh,
when he's just thinking about Venom?
The ones that we got.
Oh my God.
That sucked.
Fuck.
That sucked.
That was so bad.
Brutal, dude. They should have played the Paul Walker song.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, they're trying to give us a Fast 9 moment right here, or whatever movie that was.
Yeah,
the pure comedy version.
9 or 8? I forget.
The pure comedy version.
I think it's 7.
I think it's 7. It would be so fucking funny if the goodbye to Venom at the end, if they literally went shot for shot with the Fast 7 tribute.
Again, if they had the balls,
up, man. That'd be so crazy.
In any direction, it would have been worth it. But they did not.
Long day.
Watching Venom. Too perfect. We can't. We're gonna get a content flag.
I know we are. That's so crazy. Yeah, and damn, Venom.
That would have.
Damn.
See,
that would suck so much. And then they're doing this nostalgia play that just seems so forced. And gosh, I don't get it. I don't get
anything else. We got anything else on this one?
I had something, but it's
we got to wrap it up.
I don't know. This movie's making me question everything.
It's making me nauseous, honestly.
Yeah, I'm right back there again. I'm losing steam already. This one just really took it out of me. Listener, what did you think?
It really does.
We were all sad after this movie.
We were. This was not a fun experience. I did not have fun at the movies. And
I had fun on this pod. Movies. So Spencer, thank you very much for being here. Do you have anything to promote? Pleasure. Do you have anything coming up that you're allowed out of your NDAs to talk about?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, I'm working on Happy Gilmore 2. That's cool.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's fun.
So I guess we can all expect that on Netflix next year, and hopefully a photo or two of mine will be featured as a promotional piece of the film. Who knows what happens? Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, I can't wait to see the accompanying A24 book release.
Yeah, I know. We should have like a watch. We should have like a watch party because it's only going to be on Netflix. It's not going to actually be like in theaters, of course.
It'd be great. Yeah,
we should do that.
You give us all
whenever that happens. It'll probably come out. It's probably not going to come out till like the end of next summer, I would imagine. Given how much longer they have to shoot and how much I don't know if I can even say anything. So who knows?
Okay, but the podcast's over, Spencer.
Yeah. Anyway,
I tried ending it like 10 minutes ago, and now Kevin's been trying for 5 minutes. And I get it. You're just so over. You're blinded by agony that it's so tough. I mean, this is the mood we were in after the movie, where we all walked out and just kind of had our heads down, and we're like, we just need to walk a little bit. We need to get a drink. We just need to come back to reality.
Well, well, I guess I'll plug a pickup movie. I watched The Thing. I told you guys on the text.
No, we're not doing this anymore. Just a random movie. No, Kevin, end the podcast.
You've been great. Get us out of here.
Listener, what do you think of the movie The Thing from 1982? Let us know. nerdy430@gmail.com. We will read it on the show. I want to do that one on the show next year. Spencer, come back for that. And come back before then. We will see you next week with a little something special. We got a special little surprise for you. So we'll see you then. Until then, stay nerdy, everybody.
Stay nerdy. Bye. Thanks, Spencer.
Bye for now.